Lady died. He's a very powerful person. Here's the person with all these personal obsessiveness, which is a real story, but he's a person in charge of the army, in charge of the Secret Service, in charge of all the military in the country. How's she going to go against him? How could she break away if it wasn't a take? She's younger, she had the kids, but then she wasn't being nurtured. Her roots weren't being nurtured, and he wasn't getting what he wanted, so he got it outside. Okay. I think, yeah, so going into you can then take this is using the I Ching program, which takes the total, adds the two charts together and sees which hexagrams are in both people's charts. And you can go into that. This gets out there. So on a practical level, it's not there, but that's, okay, that's the first one. Now what time are we at? Okay, so I was hoping, I went a little fast through it because I wanted to do a second chart, not just, where are we here? Okay. So we've been doing Jung's and Freud's along the way, so I'm just going to pause for a second. Okay, I thought I'd just do a comparison and present a comparison of Freud and Jung, because it's not just about marriage relationships, and a difficult one at that. That was a very dramatic one, and I've been using that for years because it was so right on and so vivid, and you can see the connections and you can see what's happening so clearly. And having that, they're starting out their marriage on and never mind, let's go back and get out of that. We're just going to start with, take a look at Freud and Jung and how much time we can do. I'm not sure, but we'll try and do some of it, because Carl Jung was a student of Freud. They met, they got really involved with each other. They talked about, when they first met, they talked like 15 hours nonstop. They were talking to each other, sharing ideas and getting really intensely. And after that, Jung aligned with Freud and started working with Freud and backing up for studying from him, working with him, helping him out along the way. And they were seemingly going together, doing tours around America together, where he was supporting Freud stuff, but he eventually got his own thing and broke away and did his own thing. And that was a big shift of their breakup. So, but each one came. So Sigmund Freud. Now with these charts, this is more recent put together. So you have a second way you have the color and the feelings you can see between charts. But this is his bucket pattern with Mars as the handle, and his Freudian expression as a strong thing. So here's the planets and the houses, and his sun in the 7th house of the consultant. This is Freud, this is for Freud, and his Mars in the 11th, and his moon in the 8th house of trust and exchange. So like how relationships go and being responsive, very responsive person to other people, most of the planet setting. So, now this is the new point system that we did do using the Excel spreadsheet, where you have the points totaled out. It's not all handwritten on one sheet, but we can see the bucket. We can see the waxing moon phase, waxing new moon phase. He's born just after the new moon. The sun's in Leo, moon's in Taurus, and what's wrong here? Something's wrong with this. No, this isn't it. I tried to add them up. It's not working properly. Okay. That's Jung. Leo, no, that's Jung's. So I was working at the sheets late one night. Came wrong. So, okay, I'm going to just go past this stuff. Okay. Then, and Carl Jung's is here. He's the Leo with the Taurus and the Aquarius rising, where Freud is the Taurus with the Gemini moon and the Scorpio rising, Taurus, Scorpio rising, Gemini moon, where Freud, Jung is the Leo with the Taurus moon and the Aquarius rising. So he could identify his ascendant was close to his eyes, so he could see Freud's motives, see what he was talking. His moon was on in Taurus, so he would pick up and he would instinctively pick up what Freud would think is important. And but his son was in Leo. He had his own take on this, whereas Freud had the Freudian stuff, like quick words, and the Gemini mind, the intellectualizing feelings. Jung had his own sense of presence within it. So they had a certain difference between the two of them. So, okay, I'm going to have to pass on this, some of these levels of interpreting on the self, but that's good because we only have so much time and we can jump ahead and work with the two charts. So you can see even just, okay, with the planets and the houses, still they both have their sun and Uranus is in the 7th house. Let me go through this. So you can do that. Then you have okay, here's their two charts, the color charts. So with the color charts, you got a chance on the bottom two charts are the standard aspects. So you can see the basic ones. They both have a T-square, but one is all one-sided, pointed out to the bucket of the Mars, and Jung's chart is more all around the chart. It's more the splash. I used to think it was display. But it turns out it's more the splash because there are those squares, open areas that are squares. So in our new definition, it comes out more the splash. But if you're looking at the charts and the colors, you get a color feeling of the red and the green, all this red, orange in Freud's chart, and you get a color with all this yellow and amber coming in, and a whole variety of colors coming from Jung's chart. There's two totally different feelings to these different matrices. So just on a certain level, we're going to expect distinctions or different ways of operating. This totals the points up. Yeah, so here we have the two totals where you have Jung has the Leo Sun, Taurus, Moon, Aquarius rising. Freud has the Taurus with the Gemini, Taurus Sun, Gemini, Moon, Scorpio rising. But both, Freud has 3 points fixed, but his moon is in Gemini adaptable, whereas Jung has fixed, very consistent. So if we look around the two of them, what you have is the main predominance. Who has what? Jung aligned with Freud and was working with him, and he was making some money from his position, from Freud's position at the time. Freud was far more the senior. So let's see what else stands out here. Again, if you look cardinal fixed mutable, daylight increasing, daylight is greater, 19 points, 9 points, darkness is greater. So strong emphasis on each person doing their own thing, Leo and Taurus. But the mutable, only 6, not very adaptable, outstanding determination on each. If we look at the houses, what happens? Next question. Here we are, 7, 17. So you see what else? They're all fairly even. Nothing wants to stand except in the elements of the houses. You have relationships, 12 points accentuated communication. This is his point system planets in each other's houses, which this is just getting it together to organize it. And this is from the matrix. You can get it, the same information. This is just the chart forms that give you. So if you're working with matrix and you're working with the chart in front of you, you can go into the extended version. This is WinStar Pro 6, but you can go in the extended version. You can have these on the screen and just work with them. Make a clone or a screenshot. You can have these charts on the screen and be working with the planets and the houses. So this is one way to go with this. You can get this information straight. I just have mine working with the hexagrams, has other information within it, but this is set up more graphically. Mine isn't yet. I hope to have it with the chart forms and things to come up. But here you have Jung's planets in Freud's houses. So you have the charts in the center, and then you have the aspectarian. That's the printout. Then I just cut it to really give the main part of the aspectarian, where you see the aspects to each other, and the planets in the houses. Jung's moon is in his 8th house, but it's in the motivational house, the 4th house of Freud. His sun is in the 7th house, but it's in the 3rd house of Freud. So or the other way around. Carl Jung's moon is in his third house, goes in the seventh house of Freud, and his sun is in the seventh house, goes into the ninth house of Freud. So they had the issues of who's teaching, who's understanding. So we're coming to our main chart. Okay. Got a little put off by having the point systems off, but I didn't want to really spend a lot of time there anyways. We've been working on those charts on and off through each class all the way along with as we've gone up to this level. So lots of aspects, a lot of activity. So we're seeing a busy chart, a busy comparison. And I'm just looking at the time to see what we got. Okay, we got half an hour to play with this. Okay, we'll start with Carl Jung's confidence. Okay, his confidence, his sun is in the seventh house. His confidence comes from being able to respond properly with other people, being able to see the power and be responding to other people. He could certainly know how to select who's good, who's not, who relates to him, and how to respond to people. That's the sun in Leo in the seventh house. That noble responsiveness. He would be appreciated by others. He would be able to see what would make what would improve other people's confidence. So it's part of the whole theme of his whole therapy was improve his confidence, improve other people's confidence. It opposes the ascendant because it's just right close to the descendant. It's in the seventh house. It's square Neptune. This is a strong factor. So he has evasive and guilt or confusing issues around his confidence. So even though he can see other people, well, he may not be what he seems. Like, you may not always get what you seem. There's going to be he's going to have a fantasy, a dream, another side to himself, rather than just what's going on in relation. So he can be the consultant, he can see other people, but people wouldn't be seeing what he went through or where he was at. His confidence is more complicated and more evasive. In a certain way, Freud had a really practical psychotherapeutic viewpoint, but Jung was into tarot and I Ching and astrology and other mystical things that was coming in that Freud thought threatened the teaching. And in a way they did. He was going in a different direction that was taken away from the exact analysis that Freud was reaching towards. Both of them had their sun in the seventh house. Both conjunct this descendant. Both of them were trying could see how to respond to other people and wanted to be important to other people, help other people in their relationships, to champion relationships. Okay, and to champion people in making their relationships better. But Freud has his sun in the seventh house in Taurus. He is a very more practical manner, physical, emotional, how to get more satisfied, how to be more content, how to be content in a relationship, as opposed to the sun in Leo. Now, Freud had 5 kids. He stayed with his wife. He was consistent all his life until he died. Freud stayed with his life. Jung stayed with his life the whole time, but he had affairs with his secretary and with other people along the way. So he had the Neptune sun at the same time as that. So they had different degrees of confidence or creative well-being.